According to the Dream Portal, every year there are over 3 million high school graduates in the U.S. However, 65,000 of these students are undocumented and unable to get the options offered to citizens. Many of these students, like myself, have been brought to this country when we were really young, and so we're not able to get the same benefits that people that are citizens would be able to get. Last month, on September 27th, many students were wearing white shirts and they gathered up to rally down the quad in order to support what is the DREAM Act. And so they had signs that said like "I am the Dream," wearing shirts, and they even told their stories and their experiences. And I'm sure many of you guys saw them. However, there are probably many of you that didn't know what the DREAM Act was, or that there was a Fullerton College Dream Team here on campus. And the DREAM Act is something that might not be significant to all of you, but it does impact a great number of students. This is a piece of legislation that can greatly affect me, as well as other students that might be in your classes. And as citizens and as students, it is important information that affects our country as well as our community here on campus. So today I'll give you guys details of what the DREAM Act consists of, the pros and cons of this legislation, and what the Dream Team is. So the DREAM Act is something that's been trying to get pushed for over 10 years now. There's a recent one that was proposed March 16th of 2009, and I'm sure this might be for many of you guys, this might be the first time that you hear about this. So the DREAM Act stands for Development, Relief, and Education of Alien Minors, and it was introduced by Senator Richard Durbin of Illinois, which is that guy, and has currently not been passed. The DREAM Act deals with providing undocumented youth who were brought here as small children with a path to citizenship upon fulfilling certain requirements. So if and when this gets passed, in order to be able to apply, you have to be someone who has entered the country before their 16th birthday and been living here consecutively 5 years consecutively when the act is passed. You cannot be someone that can be deported under the Immigration and Nationality Act. You must be under the age of 35, and you must be admitted into a institution of higher education, or one of the branches of the military, and you must be of good and moral character. Also, the students who are able to apply for this, they will not be granted any federal aid. They are simply granted what is conditional permanent residency. And once you apply, if you are eligible, you have a 6-year span to either be enrolled in a 2-year institution and be on your way to earning a bachelor's degree, or anything higher, or be serving in the military. And after those 6 years, if you fulfill those requirements, you'll be granted legal permanent residency, thus allowing you to apply for United States citizenship. And there's a lot of details that go into this act, but because of time, I can't go through all of them. And because immigration is a very heated topic here in the United States, there's a lot of opposition as well as support for the DREAM Act and other stuff. So here are a couple. A lot of people that disagree with the DREAM Act feel that passing it will lead to major fraud from those that don't qualify, and that a lot of taxpayer money will be going to people that have been breaking the law, and it'll take away seats from citizens and law-abiding immigrants, as well as a lot of people see it as an agenda for amnesty. Some of the pros are that it will enable students who are hard workers to give back through higher education or through the military. It will allow assimilated immigrants to be able to apply for citizenship to a country that they've grown up in. And it is seen as the right thing to do for students who have put in the work and have been here and assimilated. along with other citizens. And many of these students, like, you wouldn't even know that they are AB 1040 students, or that they qualify for the DREAM Act. So, as an institution of higher education, Fullerton College, as well as other colleges and universities, are full of diversity. And as such, there are various students that can take advantage of this act, and various students that are allies and support this act. The Fullerton College Dream Team is a club that provides support for the schools, students that can benefit from this act, as well as bring information about other things dealing with immigration. They organize rallies, and they go around to different cities in support. And dream teams don't just exist on this campus; they exist on various other campuses, on a lot of other campuses, and most of them are all part of a bigger organization called the Dream Network, which helps organize movements and support for the DREAM Act. And because of the vast amount of information, I can only give you a small portion of what this is. There's a lot of debate going on, and so it's hard to give much detail. But with the information that I've given you, I've provided to you what the DREAM Act is, some of its pros and cons, and what the Dream Team was. And as estimated by the National Immigration Law Center, there are 725,000 people that can take advantage of the DREAM Act if it is passed. So whether we are for it or against it, it is, as American citizens, it is our duty to be as informed as possible in order to make conscious decisions that can change people's lives.
So Howard, what did you think?
She did read a lot, so she didn't really focus with the audience, but then and I thought your ums and the reading, you reading off the speech, kind of keeps it from running smoothly. The intro was good because I was pretty hooked on after the intro. The way you talk, it makes you seem kind of anxious, like you just want to spill this information out as soon as possible. And the structure, for some reason, I can't really differentiate where you stopped talking about your second topic and went on to talk about the Dream Team, and that was only that part. I was kind of confused. Other than that, it was good.
All right. I thought that the internal signposts were mostly indicated by the slide changes and not something that you spoke about. It was clear what the 3 points were that you were trying to get through. You had a good identification of the subject matter and a pretty clear thesis statement. You gave us good justification for listening to the subject. So for the most part, the introduction worked really well. The content, I think you get tied up a little bit in some of the details on that first point. The picture of Dick Durbin is probably not all that important. But for example, some of the statistical information that you had at the beginning, and later on you mentioned the number of people that it might apply to, I think that that's something that could have been in that first spot. I thought you did a pretty reasonable job talking about what the controversy was without trying to take sides, just explaining how people see it on the different perspectives, and I thought that that was handled pretty well. The visuals are okay. They're not fantastic, and in fact the one with the picture of the senator on it has so much script on it that I think people are going to end up reading that instead of listening to you talk about it. So it might make more sense to use bullet points or something on those points instead of having all the script that's there. I thought that you spoke pretty effectively to the audience. Although you do a lot of reading, you don't look up at the audience quite a bit. There's actually a pretty good variety in your voice. All right, I want to rush here. Oh, sugar. Let me see.